The mess hall of the Galactic Interstellar Academy had never been quiet at lunch. It was a cathedral of noise, the clatter of alloy trays, the hiss of nutrient dispensers, the overlapping chatter of 200 species eating, arguing, and occasionally throwing food across species lines for cultural reasons no one had fully explained to the administration. Emily sat alone at table 7. She always sat alone at table 7. Not because she was antisocial, not because the other students disliked her, but because Emily was human. Class 11 Deathworld designation, biosphere threat rating, extreme, and most cadets had been briefed enough to know that sitting too close to a human during feeding hours carried a non-zero statistical risk. She was eating a sandwich. She had made it herself, because the Academy's protein paste tasted like sadness pressed into a cube, and she had told the kitchen supervisor as much on her first day. The kitchen supervisor had filed an incident report. Emily had filed one back, citing culinary negligence. The kitchen supervisor still hadn't recovered emotionally. She was halfway through her second sandwich when she heard the boots. 8 of them. Senior cadets, third-year students from the Vorkheim military track, heavy worlders from a high-gravity moon with muscles that could bend structural steel. They were tall, blue-gray, and had the kind of faces that spent a lot of time looking contemptuous. Their leader, a cadet named Joe, was broader than a maintenance door and roughly as subtle. Joe stopped at the edge of Emily's table. The 7 others fanned out behind him in a practiced semicircle. It was, Emily noted without looking up, a textbook encirclement formation, no viable exit vector, psychological pressure maximized, the whole routine designed to make someone feel small and cornered. She took another bite of her sandwich. Deathworlder, Joe said. His voice was a low rumble, like gravel in a tumbler. We've been watching you. Emily said. You've been filing complaints. Against upper-year cadets. Against the kitchen staff. Against Commander Reeves' tactical assessment rubric. He leaned forward, planting both hands on the table. You've been here 3 months, and you've already made 17 enemies. 19, Emily corrected. Lieutenant Vaz and I had a disagreement about load-bearing wall calculations yesterday. I won. One of the cadets behind Joe shifted uncomfortably. Another made a low sound that, in Vorkai, roughly translated to "this is going badly." Joe didn't hear it, or didn't care. You think you're something special. A human. A Deathworlder. His lip pulled back. You're a guest here. A novelty. You're soft-bodied, short-lived, and your planet tried to kill you every day for 1,000,000 years and couldn't manage it. That doesn't make you impressive. That makes you lucky. Emily set her sandwich down. She reached for her jacket, the standard-issue cadet gray, the one with the small enamel pin on the collar that read Terra, and she folded it. Slowly, deliberately, one sleeve across, then the other, then fold in thirds, smoothed the creases with her palm. She set it neatly on the bench beside her. The mess hall, which had been loud a moment ago, had gone very, very quiet. Joe blinked. What are you? I'm making sure it doesn't wrinkle, Emily said pleasantly. I only have 2, and the laundry cycle is every 72 hours. She stood up. She was not tall, by any measure. The top of her head came to Joe's collarbone. She had brown hair pulled back in a practical knot, a small scar through one eyebrow from a rock climbing incident at age 14, and eyes that were, at present, the specific shade of calm that experienced soldiers learn to recognize as the last calm before something breaks. Now, she said, did you want to finish your speech, or did you want to skip to the part where you figure out what happens next? Joe's jaw tightened. You're outnumbered 8-1. You're a third-year military track student, and you brought 8 people to intimidate one unarmed first year during lunch, Emily said. I want you to sit with that information for a moment. Someone in the back of the mess hall stifled a laugh. I'm not going to fight you, Joe said, though his voice had lost some of its certainty. I'm going to make your life here very difficult. I have friends in the assignment office, in the training schedules, Joe. Emily's voice was quiet. Not soft, quiet. There's a difference, and the distinction matters. I grew up on a planet where the weather has a kill count. I spent my 16th summer doing wilderness survival in a region where 3 separate apex predators considered humans a seasonal delicacy. I passed my entrance exams in a decompression chamber because the Academy's standard testing environment makes humans too comfortable and they wanted accurate results. She tilted her head slightly. You're a bully from a high-gravity moon who has apparently never encountered someone who didn't have the biological option to be frightened of him. The mess hall was silent enough now that the distant hum of the life support system was clearly audible. Joe stared at her. Emily picked up her sandwich and took a bite. I'm not lucky, she said, chewing thoughtfully. Lucky implies it was chance. It wasn't chance. Every human alive is the direct descendant of 10,000 generations of people who survived things that should have killed them. We didn't get to be soft. We didn't get to have that option. Our planet wouldn't allow it. She swallowed. So when you stand in front of me with 7 of your friends and tell me I should feel small, I'm genuinely curious what outcome you were expecting. Joe opened his mouth, closed it. One of the cadets behind him, a younger one, barely past his first-year stripes, said, very quietly, Joe, I think we should go. Joe looked at Emily for a long moment. She looked back. She had finished the sandwich. He left. They all left. No dramatic declaration, no ultimatum, no face-saving exit line. Just 8 large cadets filing out of the mess hall in uncomfortable silence while 200 other students watched. Emily picked up her jacket and shook it out. Good, no wrinkles. She put it back on, adjusted the terrapin, and sat down. A Kiriti cadet at the next table, small, 6-limbed, eyes like amber moons, leaned over tentatively. Are you all right? I'm great, Emily said. Do you want half a sandwich? I made too much. The Kiriti stared at her. You are the strangest creature I have ever encountered. Emily smiled. It was a warm smile, genuine and uncomplicated. Yeah, she said. We get that a lot. By the end of the week, 19 cadets had filed requests to be assigned to Emily's study group. Joe was the 20th.